It really is so tragic, Joanne. And yes, sources say duct tape was used to keep the women quiet before they were shot to death. Now their families are eager for justice.
It didn't turn out in the way that we would hope that it would turn out.
The identities of the bodies found here in this hole have been identified as 22-year-old Ashley Conaway and her best friend, 18-year-old Abria Brown. They'd been shot to death, and sources say their hands, legs, and mouths were bound with duct tape. Investigators believe Brandon Kane and Brian Lee are behind the abduction and murders, and they believe the two women were brought here, shot, and buried under mounds of dirt and these cut logs. A newer shovel was found nearby.
They took it upon themselves to bury my daughter. And I think that is very, just the desecration of her soul, of her spirit. And I'm just glad that I'm at a closure to where I know what the location of my daughter is now. She's in the kingdom of heaven.
The car used in the abduction was found shortly after Abria and Ashley were reportedly kidnapped at gunpoint in front of the home where Abria's stepdad lives in Hamtramck. And investigators say it was all because Brandon Kane wanted to keep the girls quiet about a shooting weeks earlier. On February 8th, police say Kane was so upset that Ashley was dumping him, he told his friend Brian Lee to shoot at her and Abria as they left his West Side home. Then came Kane's attempts to bribe the two young women with money if they would not cooperate with investigators in that shooting case. Ashley and Abria refused, and the kidnapping and murders police say were Brandon Kane's way of silencing them for good.
And we should not lose our children, our daughters, to such a travesty. We shouldn't lose our children to evil and rotten men.
And as Hamtramck police continue to work on the kidnapping and murder case, Brandon Kane and Brian Lee are still being prosecuted in the February 8th shooting in Detroit. They're both in custody and due in court on Friday in that case. Reporting live in Hamtramck, Kimberly Craig, Channel 7 Action News. Joanne, back to you.
Kim, let's talk a little bit more about that case then without Ashley and Abria, with them gone now. Do investigators think that they have enough evidence to still prosecute those two for the shooting that they said led up to all of this?
Absolutely, absolutely. I talked to investigators today, and they say they do believe that they have a solid case in that shooting case. They say there were other witnesses besides Abria and Ashley. Back to you.
All right, Kimberly Craig reporting. Thanks, Kim.